Greetings, Gulls, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates Mod. I'm Commodore Tirk of the Heavy Battlecruiser Bailiff as we continue our campaign against all of neutral shipping. And last time, well, we had a couple of a really interesting battle, dueling it out over the planet of 24-6, which Empire defense has fallen to 10. Almost managed to do it perfectly on that second battle, but ended up coming just slightly short. So we need to head back on home for just a little bit to patch up the 48 damage we took when we decided to get slightly too aggressive. And we also need a fresh supply of Marines because we've been boarding the crap out of ships and stealing all of their stuff because, you know, it gives us a little bit extra cash, more than paid for the 110 plus the 48 that we managed to actually spend on repairs for that mission. So let us set back up and, well, let's take the planetary assault because they're a little bit more fun and maybe we'll get super lucky and we'll only be operating with ISC forces and it'll actually work. So prepare for red alert and increased speed, and those are ISC titles. Gotta set up all of our weapons to overload except for the PPD, of course, which just means the 2 plasma torpedoes to enveloping plasma torpedo mode. Also going to make sure we set up our forward shield reinforcement to a reasonable degree. We will counteract some enemy jamming already because we will anticipate it coming along. We'll go to 1-1. Just to give us a little bit of defense should anything actually come up. We do, of course, need to prepare a Wild Weasel in addition to that to make sure that we have all the defenses required for operations. And a quick peek at our friends. We're being escorted today by the Averament, which is unfortunately a pretty pathetic looking standard freighter, as well as the Claw. And the Claw is a CY, which is the same type of vessel that we are. So a pair of Keldon classes walk into a bar, and squaring off against them is a heavy cruiser and a planet. So far, the heavy cruiser seems to be all on his lonesome. Fleet screen tells us this is an MCC, so a medium command cruiser. And the PL6 tells us it's not actually well defended at all, which is lovely. Send the probe. Now send the probe. So we're going to launch a probe off into the distance, switch over to our power screen here so I can increase the speed of the ship to an appropriate level. Doesn't look like he's got any friends on this one, which is somewhat unfortunate for him because we brought a lot more firepower than he did. Although, to be fair, the Twin S's Twin F setup on that medium command cruiser is pretty nice, not gonna lie. Now, the plan is fairly similar to what we normally attempt to do. We sort of amble our way in reasonably close to the target, distance of about 25 to 20. We open fire with our PPD. We fire a plasma torpedo in pseudo mode to attempt to see if we can't bait out a specific shot, and then we run. And it seems to work out pretty gosh darn well. The AI reacts to it in a way that we quite are happy to operate with. He's gone up an additional point of electronic countermeasure, so I'm going to follow him as well just to keep him a little bit honest and prepare the PPD. So fire now. Missing 2, missing 3, 4, missing 5, missing 6. Oh, that was actually really terrible. Fire the pseudo torpedo and break off. So we do need to sprint on away as fast as possible. Now the reason why we're firing the pseudo torpedo is also to hopefully get it before his... that's a crash stop. He unloaded? He underloaded his plasma torpedoes. Are you kidding me? So you can fire the PPD in a multitude of... in a multitude of modes. One of them is overload, where you fire 2 additional pulses, and the other one is underload, where you fire 2 fewer pulses. And the advantage of underload is it's faster to get out the door, or it takes less power. I almost never use the mode because I don't find it to be all that useful, so it tends not to be significantly important. He fired both of his S-type plasma torpedoes, which is good. I might even be able to get some all-right acceleration out of here. Yeah, no, that's making it my way. Prep the high energy turn. Let's see if we can get this bucket around in time and deactivate the point defense system. Oh, the bucket's coming around. Alright, scattered over all of this ship at that point. So that was about as good of a scrambling as we possibly could have done. I'm actually really proud of that. We managed to avoid a lot of incoming damage potentially. I mean, it's only a pair of plasma F torpedoes, but still, that could have been pretty brutal, and the way we were able to just spread them around using the high energy turn like that really worked out quite nicely. He does not have a shuttle bay anymore, making him incredibly vulnerable. I'm going to go over to plasma torpedoes and set them to normal mode. Free up some additional power so I can maneuver a little bit more aggressively. It's generally not something you do all that often with ISC vessels, mainly because you need the firepower to just sort of try and counteract the enemy. But if you use your speed to your advantage, your PPDs are surprisingly effective. Oh, a missile almost even getting through on that one. PPD is probably not going to be lined up in time, but I'm certainly going to give him a shot. Come on, give me the forward port shot. Oh, we got to line up on the PPD. Oh, and the combination barrage. And they tore them apart. Lovely. Good job, everybody. Alright, let's increase the speed of time. PPDs to overload, plasma torpedoes to enveloping and enveloping, because now we get to bomb a planet, which is mostly helpless, and we can basically park just outside of range, so this ought to be fairly easy. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this one. So, had an opportunity to cause a lot of damage to us. We did end up having to use a wild weasel, which was less than ideal. You don't want to use any wild weasels if you don't have to. Unfortunately, in this particular circumstances, it was somewhat unavoidable. There was no way we were going to outrun those plasma S torpedoes. We just simply hadn't accelerated fast enough, which was partly my own mistake. Wild weasels are there to make up for your own mistakes, but it definitely came down to a factor of... I'll stop. Am I at a range where I have PPD still fire? Aha! Perfect range. Range of 4.00. Oh, so we timed it perfectly. Beautiful. Obviously. So, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Because I hadn't begun the turn early enough, I sort of waited and wallowed a little bit in closer. That, unfortunately, put us in a position where we weren't able to take maximum advantage of our systems. And so, instead of being just already on the way out at a high rate of speed, we were just trapped within his danger zone. Wouldn't have done a huge amount of damage, but it would have gotten through the shields, dented enough of the ship system that I wouldn't have wanted to deal with that. So dumping the wild weasel managed to save us from that, and then that did put us in a position where we were going to get shot at by his F-type plasma torpedoes, but fortunately for us, the high energy turn, well timed on that one, bounced it across multiple shields, and thus was able to reduce the damage that we took on that, which, you know, a rather excellent display of high energy turn plasma torpedo defense, which is kind of not quite a last ditch, but you're getting pretty close to the end of the ditch at that point. Alright, so we're going to accelerate away as our Marines conquer the entire planet because we've destroyed everything, and there we go. I wonder if we'll actually get any sort of Empire score for this, because we were only escorted by our own faction. It'll be interesting to see how the game decides to actually sort of line that one out. 495 prestige is a reward for a job well done, and the tile is ours. And we finally conquered some neutral territory. Lovely. Let's head on north, I think, and we want to just sort of scramble down some of this territory up here. Does mean we gotta fight the Gorn a little while longer, which I'd like to move somewhere else, but it looks like we don't have much of a choice. Planetary assault it shall be. And again, hopefully we don't fight with the Gorn. We fight against the Gorn as ourselves. Well, we're all by our lonesome, so it'll be interesting, and it's a dreadnought. Okay, that could get ugly. All systems overload. These to normal, and immediately we're going to prepare a wild weasel because we're going to need it. And if there's more than one dreadnought here, we're going to probably win. This is a PL-17, so totally undefended, which means as long as we can limp away from this with more than just the phaser 3, we can actually accomplish this mission without too much trouble, I think. Let's prepare the forward shield reinforcement because we're going to need it, as well as some electronic countermeasures, just a little bit to keep, or a little bit of electronic countermeasures to keep us sort of honest, or at least him honest, and we'll start to accelerate. We will fire the probe to find out if he's really alone, and he's not. No. So there is a pretty hard and fast rule if you're playing as a conventional plasma race. And I use the phrase conventional plasma race because at the end of the day, Romulans kind of break the formula pretty bad. We can't take on that dreadnought. Well, no, let me rephrase. We can take on that dreadnought, but we can't take on the dreadnought and his friend. So we're dealing with a heavy dreadnought here, which is equipped with multiple R-type plasma torpedoes, and just not the biggest phaser array setup, but decent one. Him on his lonesome, we can handle. Him with a friend, no. Because at the end of the day, they've brought more launchers to the fight, so that's definitely going to force us away. So it's more launchers coming from different points, so it's not like we can just basically avoid one major blast. We would have to avoid multiple. Now, if we were in a pack of a bunch of human players, or just a standard Starfleet Battles tabletop ISC fleet, I'd feel really confident about doing that, but the AI is stupid, so if I were to bring friends along for the ride, it would not end up well. So we can shift over to an asteroid base assault, take a little bit of a light action over here where we sort of set up, earn more cash. That's kind of the goal at the moment, is to get our cash levels up to a point where we can rather easily handle that sort of enemy firepower. So the asteroid-based defense could be a little bit dangerous for us on this one, depending on who actually it is. Asteroid bases are very tough, unfortunately, and we don't have the greatest kit to deal with them. We have an okay kit to deal with them, but we're not Romulans. We don't get to cloak our way through all the defenses. At the end of the day, the comparison always has to be, if you pack plasma torpedoes as one of your major armaments, well, you ain't Romulans, now are ya? Because the Gorn, they do plasma in sort of the same numbers that the Romulans do. The problem is they don't have the cloaking device. So they ain't Romulans, now are they? However, the ISC doesn't quite use plasma in the same number. They use their PPDs, but, well, they ain't Romulans, now are they? That sort of is a mantra that you may end up having to go through a lot if you're trying to figure out which plasma race you want to play, because at the end of the day, you ain't Romulans, now are ya? The cloaking device is so incredibly powerful. It's almost unreal that is part of the original tabletop game, is the fact that Romulans can do that. Maybe it's less powerful in Starfleet battles in the tabletop. That could be the case. It wouldn't actually surprise me all that much if there was some sort of balancing factor, because the cloaking device is just a monstrously powerful capability. So we are probably within range. He's probably going to fire on me, so I'm going to... Oh, wow, triple S-type plasma torpedo. React to that, please. Please react to that. You did not even care. Okay. Right. So I'm going to get to the other shoulder and see if I can't dump a pseudo-torpedo on him. Come on, respond to this. Just break turn. Give me an opportunity. Give me an opening so I can shoot into you. He is a heavy battlecruiser. He does out-ton us pretty badly. So that is a major concern of ours, because at the moment, I don't want to get anywhere near him. The triple S-type plasma torpedo, each one of those is 30 damage. He's got 90 there, plus another 40 from the two F-type plasma torpedoes. So 130 damage is a pretty significant amount of fight, and I can't match that, unfortunately. I literally do not have the plasma torpedo firepower to do a sufficiently sized barrage to actually get some big hits on there. So he's starting to accelerate. I'm going to dump my plasma and immediately pull off. Plasma torpedoes down to normal mode because I'm going to need the nimbleness and aggressiveness. And the PPDs at the end of the day are going to be doing most of our work. That's his barrage. So we are already on the acceleration on this one, so we will be able to outrun these, I do believe. Just going to set them right to my stern, and we're going to run. We're not going to hang around. We're not going to play games. We're not going to do anything about that. We're just going to run as fast as we possibly can. And if we can drag these out enough, that'll keep us protected without having to waste the Wild Weasel. And I really don't want to waste a Wild Weasel. Alright, so that's the first of his 3 plasma torpedo salvo. So I can start to slow down a little bit. I don't have any pseudo-plasma torpedoes at the moment, which is a kind of major concern. And in fact, I'm actually going to keep my stern... Ooh, we gotta pull away from the asteroid base, because it's too dangerous. So now he's got me between a bit of a rock and a hard place, and I don't like that. So, because this base can shoot out to a range of 100. It won't be accurate from that range, but it can do it. So, and that can keep shields down, that can harm you in ways you don't want to think about. So we're going to continue to blitz along, and he started to catch up to me. So that's a bit of a... I want both of my PPDs ready to go before I make the turn on in. So I'm sort of dragging time out here. I'm going to probably cut back across over in this direction. Now the turn's already started. We're going to go with it. We're going to sort of start wallowing back on in. The goal is to get a PPD strike and nothing more. He has 2 F-type plasma torpedoes, which we can avoid so long as we keep the range somewhat long. But we are not exactly the most nimble at the helm vessel. There was a PPD, miss 2, miss 3. Oh, he got a defense shift on us. How? I'm not showing a defense shift. So the only ways you can unlock, the only way that I know of that you can unlock from a PPD strike is if, and only if, I need to turn this way. Maybe not. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. So the only way you can break off a PPD shot is if you manage to get yourself into a position where you can create an attack shift for your opponent. So easy way to do that is a shuttle, because a shuttle will instantly give you pretty much enough power in order to have a defense shift of 2, which, you know, very nice to have on board. Okay, we're just gonna use that for distance then. A little disappointing, because I was kind of hoping to fire a plasma torpedo on him. I could just turn into him. We're almost ready to go with our PPDs. I just don't want to get too close because of his S-type plasma torpedoes. That's a major... Oh, he burned it. Okay. Alright, prepare it with the PPD. Come on, cycle, cycle, cycle. They need one more cycle. PPDs are up. And good accuracy this time. That's the whole salvo. Okay, now we can pull away. So the only way to break lock when you dump a full power, when you dump a Wild Weasel, it gives you enough defense shift basically to bring you up to your opponent to an attack shift of 2. So you will have created that attack shift, which will bust up the PPD, and the PPD will have to reattempt to gain the lock while staring at an attack shift of 2, which is not great. That's And the only other way that I know of, honestly, is, or there's two other ways. You come within minimum range, which that'll break off the lock immediately. It can't shoot if it gets within minimum range, which is one of the reasons why we really work hard to try and get things under control. I'm just going to sprint away from him for a bit. I'll wait for systems to charge, even if they're a bit slow. Unfortunately, that's kind of the situation that we're in at, because I don't want to give him an opportunity to do too much. So distance helps me out a lot, and just running away to speed of 30 helps. So now that we're at a distance of 40, I will drop down on my speed a little bit so that I can start charging up the other half of my ship. The only other, and the final way, so create a defense shift for them, it'll be an attack shift. Get within a range of 4 to break off the lock entirely, or let something pass in front of you. Specifically, I'm talking something like an asteroid or a planet. So if you can fulfill one of those 3 categories, you can break them off. Now, the only problem I saw was I didn't see this attack shift go up to 1, so I'm not quite sure how he managed to break the lock. It is somewhat puzzling. How are my pseudo-torpedoes doing? They look ready. Almost ready. This one's not yet ready, but by the time we actually get within range to do anything about it, that may change. Now he is sprinting forward as fast as he can. I'm just going to slightly curve away from him. We need to make sure that over off in this direction there is the base, so we definitely want to make our turns off over in this direction. So if he was smart, he would know that, and he would start maneuvering to try and pincer me, but he's not that smart. PPDs are just about ready to go, and I'm another turn and a half away from having the plasma torpedoes both being online. But having only one ready to go is not terrible. We're going to start to turn on in. We're going to keep our speed at a speed of 22. Going to do a quick check all around to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Alright, now we can start rolling on in on him. And again, I think this time I'm going to use a pseudo torpedo. Oh shoot, that was a real torpedo. Fire the PPD. We are way too close. 2, 3, 4, and sprint. So are you going to do anything about this? Can you do anything about this? You may not actually have any capability to handle this, because I may have actually run him dry on shuttles. It's entirely possible. Don't know how likely it is. I've burned this already. Slow down. Slow down, give me power. So that puts us in an interesting position now. Because if he doesn't have any more shuttles, then I can basically fire plasma torpedoes from range with impunity. I've still got shuttles. He's got more launchers than I do, which makes life just a little bit more difficult for him. But, that'll be a nice position, especially because our plasma torpedo arcs are super wide. We can fire basically out the back. All we got to do is wallow our position just a little bit, and it'll be fine. So yeah, that feels actually pretty good to be in that position. I do want to start preparing another Wild Weasel, which is why this screen keeps coming back. But I don't think I'm going to have quite the opportunity to do it. Again, we're going to extend the range out long. Need to take time. If we play super aggressive... Oh, God, that's the end of the map. All right, so we're stuck now. We've got to fight him, because I've lost half of my tactical options in terms of maneuver. Oh, God, I'm in a corner. All right, not good. This is extra double plus bad at this point, actually. I'm going to try and hold the range out just a little bit longer, because I want to have the PPD available for when we turn back on in, and I will fire the pseudo torpedo shortly. PDs. Okay, good luck. For our pseudo. So we may actually be... Oh, you're going to call me in close, aren't you? You're going to get me in real close. Yeah. You're smart. Okay, you're not dumb. Okay, you're dumb. I just don't have enough room to drag this torpedo. But fortunately for me, the AI has an aversion to the edge of the map. It's not a bad aversion to have, because otherwise you'd be able to trick the AI into doing some really dumb things. But yeah, okay, took the hit. We could take that hit. Start to slow down. And he's facing away from me, so I don't want to fire a plasma torpedo. I don't think it'll have the sort of effect that we're hoping for. But this may have actually given me an opportunity to be in his blind spot. For a little while, anyway. We need to be prepared to bail from this spot at any moment. And this also makes it very difficult to oh, no, he's going to be a lot... Is he going to... This makes it very difficult in order to try and fire plasma torpedoes at him. Because you really can't shoot a plasma torpedo at someone who's running away from you. Because unfortunately it just burns out too easily. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to hold position here as best as I can. I don't mind if the range extends, because an extended range means I have an easy time of escaping from him. All I care about is position, and that's an over-the-shoulder shot, not going to escape. So we have hit the point where you must escape and run at this point, so clever move on his part, but we did get ourselves out of the corner without too much trouble. or at least too much damage being sustained. I'm going to leave the phaser defenses on for now. I know it's going to burn down my phaser power quite a bit, but I also don't, you know what, we've reached the point. Don't waste. No reason to waste. Okay, lovely, so that was burned. Gonna turn that back on just in case. I don't know when I'm gonna need it, but I might need it, and that's the key. So again, we want to sort of hover out here at a longer-ish range for a little while longer. I just want both PPDs ready to go. Then I'll turn on into them. We'll do, again, that little bait and poke, I suppose this is what we're doing. So nice long-range plinking fire with the PPD, and then we come in close with the plasma. Well, we use our plasma torpedo to ward from being coming too close on. Fire the pseudo. See if he responds to that or not. I've got one PPD, which got instant accuracy, and then broke. I don't know how he broke the lock. Seriously, dude, you're not generating a defense shift on me. He's not. So how is he breaking this lock? Another PPD going full on in. Did I pull outside of limits? Maybe that was it. I'm gonna go a bit risky. I'm gonna dump both of them on him. Because the reason why that's risky is he may still have a shuttle. And if he does, then he will respond to this. If not, though, then that'll be a nice double tap on top of him, which should hit him through. He does have the shuttle, darn it. I'm hoping that's his last one, though. Alright, so I will use this opportunity to slow down a little bit so I can charge. Because I do want to charge my heavy weapons and we'll just pull immediately away from him. He is going to activate sooner on that because the plasma torpedo did destroy that. But that will allow us to sort of give some time for some space, which we need. Plasma torpedoes are charging. One of my PPDs is coming up, and I'm still on the edge of the map. I thought I was. I was like, you're heading towards the map there, buddy. Right. So that messes with my evasion maneuver a little bit. Because now I have to start coming in towards him, which works towards his advantage. Port side pseudo is not ready. So we have a while before we're going to have any pseudo torpedoes ready to rock and roll again. Quick check on top. Yeah, I'm still actually angling slightly towards the edge of the ribbon. So we want to avoid going outside the ribbon. If you actually play Starfleet Battles, the tabletop, the rule of thumb is that if you reach the edge of the map, well, the board moves. And all you need to do is mark out the place where you are, mark out the place where they are, and move the board. And you just keep playing until infinity. Obviously, that is less than possible. Well, less than easy to pull off when trying to operate with a computer which happens to have limited resources, especially because this game came out back in the year 2000, 2001 era. But it is a pretty interesting idea. Okay, pull within 25. Double tap, good. What's that plasma torpedo? Get that out as well, and immediately pull away because he's getting awfully darn close. I may have gotten too close. The range is a lot shorter than I want it to be. That's my fault. But how are you going to respond to this? You are going to outrun the plasma torpedo, unfortunately. Did force a breakaway. And he did high energy turn to bounce it. Interesting. Commit to me. Are you going to commit to me? We've stripped away his forward shield, which is a really solid position for us to be in already. So this forward shield being out is really comfortable for us, because if we turn it back in and our PPDs are ready, we're splashing damage all across this forward area. It's very strong. Oh, he's starting to go for the catch-up. Right. That's almost ready. Okay, we're going to wallow into it. Let's see if I can't dump one out the back, see how he responds to it. Come on. There we go. If he responds to this, it'll be interesting. I'm just kind of hoping that I've run him dry on Wild Weasels, because if, well, maybe not. A Wild Weasel response to this would actually be ideal. Never mind. I need time. I need time and space, and he's not giving it to me. He's being reasonably smart about that. Because he went to pass the mine on this side, which you'll notice I have only open space out there, which is the direction I want to turn, that means. Unfortunately, I kinda can't. So I will use that to try and generate some space. Just a plasma torpedo dumped his way. He's traveling at a speed of 31, which is very aggressive on towards me. And that plasma torpedo is real enough, buddy. Yeah, right under the forward shield. And he crashed out. Oh, wow. So, a very big misplay by him. He went for the full crash stop, but he did it too late because he was just traveling too quickly to keep that under control and maintained, and ran right on into a plasma torpedo. That is a very uncomfortable position to be in, because he wasted the Wild Weasel and he didn't even get the effect from it. He still took the 20 damage on the face. So we're going to come back on in. We're going to prepare another Plasma Torpedo Strike alongside our PPDs. He's not going to have any defense for that, which means this Plasma Torpedo will get through. And the PPDs ought to do a fairly decent amount of damage, because this forward shield is already down. So prepare the PPDs at a range of just under 25. It's not ideal, but it will work. Start to pull away. Oh, we got some really good strikes on that one. And just under range of 20, dump the Plasma Torpedo just to add on towards that. His speed is surprisingly slow. I would have expected him to be traveling a lot faster than this by now. But I think he may have learned his lesson. Either that or we may have started hitting some serious power systems. And that would be great. If we're hitting his power generation, then we're going to be in a nice, powerful position. He managed to take that on one of his aft shields, but it's going to cost him time. And time is our ally. So as long as we get to control that, the longer this fight drags on, the more screwed he is. Because he doesn't have a forward shield anymore. And he can't even reinforce the forward shield sufficiently in order to actually protect him. Slowly ratchet up our speed. I don't want to let you get in too close, but I can dump another Plasma Torpedo over the side. So that is the right side. Right is left. Because right now we're staring down the base of this. If you want to come right in on me, buddy, I'm going to let you. I am going to let you. Shouldn't. I should delay it just slightly. Very slightly. Ever so slightly. Plasma Torpedo. I'm not going to delay it. I'm going to pull away. My PPDs are ready, yes, which means if we wanted to be extra offensive and aggressive, I could have just continued to go right in on him. However, I'm still feeling a little bit squirrely about what he's got packing for me. So I wanted that to hit, make sure that it did a little bit more damage. Only did 12 damage because the range is starting to get a little bit long. But he's re-accelerating back up to a speed that I don't want him at. I am going to be a little bit aggressive on this one. We're going to turn on into him, which may not work out as great as I'd like it to. But if I can get the angle just right, I can hopefully penetrate him on something. Come on, PPD. There we go. Oh, lost the lock. Again with his lock loss. It's got to be that we pulled outside of the range. I'm going to zigzag back around. You know what? I am curious. I'm going to find out exactly what we've done to him so far. Only a phaser 3. Interesting. I would have expected a lot more damage considering the way he's reacting. Although our PPD does not deal a whole ton of damage out from this range. When it hits, it's only dealing about 1 damage per hit. So we're doing about 4 damage per pulse, but we're hitting in multiple locations, and it becomes a little bit interesting to see where it ends up actually going. We're reaching the corner of the map again. So we've just been dragging him back and forth, raking him over the coals again and again and again, which is kind of what we're supposed to do. We're a singleton ISC ship. That's kind of our only thing that we can do. We lack the capability of doing other more aggressive tactics, because we don't have the rest of the squadron with us. We'll dump that. That was a bit of a miscalculation on my part. The turn didn't happen as fast as I thought it was going to. And we got a lot closer than we want to be. We're going to dump another Plasma Torpedo. This is forcing a retreat, which will hopefully give me time and space, which I now need pretty badly. And actually, I can now turn in aggressive. Did hit him, didn't cause any damage. His shields in the aft are still in reasonably good shape. And he's able to burn these mostly dry, although he's not being as smart as we were and just burning them totally dry. So another couple of hits. So if he brings the bow around, though, I can really lay it down. 2 misses, 3 misses. Okay, good hits on that. 3 pulse on through. So again, pull away. In fact, accelerate. Because if we don't start accelerating, he could be in a position to fire his plasma torpedoes at us. He's got a high energy turn. Interesting choice. Not quite sure why you'd do that. So he's traveling at a speed of 17, he's accelerating again. I'm going to slow down again so I can start getting some charge going on, because we do need the weapon system to charge. That's kind of the key here. We need power, lots of power. Oh god, I just realized how long this battle is going on. 20 minutes all on its own. Oh boy, this is going to be a long one today. Just because I can't really condense this at this point. I mean, I could increase the speed of time, but I'm a little bit worried about how fast he can react versus how fast I can react. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zigzag. Have a gift. There you go. So just let it hit you. Yeah, that's right, buddy. Just accept it. Right, so he slowed down. I'm going to wait for another plasma torpedo strike unless I can bring the range sufficiently out. I mean, I've got my plasma torpedo just about ready to go. So I'll let him maneuver in a little bit closer. PPDs. Yeah, I let it get too far. That's what I was worried about. All the power to the engines. But that, buddy, was a mistake. That was a significant mistake on your part. You fired pretty much everything you had, and a shuttle. Interesting plan. Because now I'm in on you. I'm in hot. So, close to a range of about 15, but I want the PPD out as soon as we can. Miss one, miss two. I managed to nail the third and the fourth. Port-side plasma torpedo. I'm going to close. We're going to close hard on this guy. Which probably not the greatest plan because I do still need to take on the starbase. Or an asteroid starbase, but it's still a starbase. So it's dangerous to do this now. Because we're coming in nice and close and we're going to be super aggressive and see how he responds. He still has most of his plasma intact according to this, although the scans may be incomplete. Wrap it up. Good couple of penetration shots into the back now. And phasers into the stern. And pull away. Pull away, pull away, pull away. So I gotta rush on out of here. In fact, I'm gonna double probe. Yeah, we gotta get away from that quick. That's a lot of firepower. However, if we got lucky there, what we may have done is really badly damaged his warp core. I don't think so, but there is always the chance. Slow down, let things charge. Again, in and out. We must flow like water. Because otherwise we'll get annihilated on the hard rocks of a Gorn fleet. No, seriously, we don't have the firepower to just straight up duke it out with him. So were we playing another Gorn, what I would do is I would go in much more aggressively and I would plasma anchor him. I would run right up to him, I would fire my I would probably avoid his first shot and then fire my plasma as hard as possible. See if I could nail something important. So good penetrations on that. Maximum speed as we pull off again. This... Oh good, you turned right back into him. For another good 10 damage. And we'll slow down. So I can't imagine that he has shuttles anymore. I just can't imagine it. He's had to have used them all. Otherwise, he would have defended himself. Granted, we're taking pot shots from basically absolute maximum range with these PPDs and plasma torpedoes. If we got in closer, we could do a lot more damage. But I don't want to risk the amount of damage it would take. 2 misses, 4 misses, 5 misses. Another good hit on that. Plasma torpedo out. And rush. And again, a distance of 15 on the plasma torpedo is pretty huge for the amount of damage that we're trying to get off. And he's going to turn and bring the stern around. Now we do know that his aft shields are not very good shape. And punch right through, 11 damage on. So we're going to slow back on down. I'm tempted to launch a probe, but I'm not going to bother. Because it's not going to tell me anything that I don't already know. He's in trouble, and he still needs his space. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble too. Just based on his engine performance right now. He's really going slow. So I'm going to turn in. He's doing a speed of 11. Yeah, there's something messed up with his engine. So we can hopefully take advantage of that. So we don't want to get too close. We want to play this smart. Getting too close will lead us to dying. Or if not dying, taking more damage than I want to take. And that's plasma and another plasma, please, before we get too close. There we go. And we'll pull away. Speed of 8.6. Penetration. Good hit. Probe. Let's find out. He still has 2 S-type plasma torpedoes and they're ready to go. So if we get in close to this guy, he's just going to drop those right in our face and that will hurt us in significant ways. But we definitely have the advantage. Like so. So again, keep the range long. Don't be greedy. Dump plasma torpedoes at the back. That's why they're there. Sometimes you come around to the front, but again, be cagey about it. Long range hit and run. Seems so weird to do, but it is the strategy that's going to keep us more or less intact. Got him. Okay. So, plasma torpedoes to enveloping mode. It's time to go take out a starbase. After 25 minutes of battle. Jeez, this is going to be a 40-minute long episode. Alright, sciences. Give me the deep scan. Find me this target. I'm so turned around I have no idea which direction is up at this point. There it is. Lovely. Okay, you can get the deep scan now. Thank you. Alright, all power to forward shields. Lovely. I'm going to need a fairly decent amount of defense into the electronic countermeasure. And then, yeah, just got to get up on the target. Show me my power screen, because it's going to be very important on this one. 3.5 points of energy. I'm traveling 17, so I will be able to slow down and protect myself. But we're probably going to have to stop at a range of about, I'm going to guess, 15 at least, probably closer to 20. So this is going to be a long engagement. On the bright side, we know that the starbase cannot actually launch Wild Weasel shuttles, so every single plasma torpedo we send his way is going to hit. Unless, of course, you know, he burns it down with his 4 phaser 3s, which I suppose is technically possible. But we do want to be a little bit careful, because he could still kill us. If we just went right in on this asteroid starbase, we'd get annihilated. It has that sufficient amount of firepower to stop us from doing that. So we're just going to slow down, nice and gentle. A lot more. I'm going to be super aggressive, I suppose. Shield took it. Okay. Although we're not actually charging, so we're not going to have this much energy. You know what? I'll stop. And select the siege group. Yeah, that hurt a lot. PPDs, 2 plasmas. Let's start getting the damage on. 16.5 might be a bit light. The forward shield looked like I actually took that. That's pretty good. How much ECM? Okay, drop down to 3. Or 5. See if we can just get a little bit more protection going on. And we're just dealing rapid 4s every single time we hit, which is nice. Are you going to try and race me up to the top again on this one? Don't do that. Don't make me have to fight you with special charging systems. So, yeah, just a long-range siege. 56 damage. We're almost dealing full plasma damage. That's actually pretty good. Although, we're dealing half damage, because we're dealing double damage applying to all 6 sides. So, if we're only getting 60 damage done out of both plasma torpedoes, we're actually doing half. Or slightly under half, actually. So the forward shield is holding out pretty good, which is good, obviously. Which means we can actually start to... Ooh, that was good. Probe. Okay, we knocked out one of his... Oh, wow, we must have hit something serious on that one. Get in there and get in there now. Because we've got to make sure we get some serious fight going down. Yeah, we hit that important. So now we're probably on the verge of killing him at this point. Yeah, we've knocked out all of his weapon systems. So again, we don't want to get too close, otherwise our PPD is useless, and our PPD is a very helpful weapon when it comes to knocking things offline, and that took him out. So a 28-minute battle in order to take on that battle cruiser. It's a heck of a lot more powerful than we were. So I'm going to start looking... Well, we're 292 prestige. We need to start looking at stopping home to pick up a new ship. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I have been Tarek. If you like what you've seen, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time we post one of these videos, press the little bell icon, leave a comment, and make sure you join us for our streams on Wednesdays and Saturdays as we play through Rogue Tech, which is a fairly phenomenal game. I highly suggest you check it out on the rest of the channel, and I will see you all in the next episode.